hours. So
Neato. Admit, admit, admit. I don't know that I have a lot to talk about, so maybe it'll be the Tim show today, because everything else I've been working on is more like API crap. Oh,
Oh darn, Ben's finally gotten to the point where he calls it API crap. He's no longer excited about it.
well, it's not
right.
exciting to most people. I still enjoy it, but only when it works. And I've been struggling with dev to fix this one issue for so long that I'm like, I don't know how many different ways to tell them that it's not working. But I'll get there. I have confidence. All right,
What is that? Why is that in my way? Go away.
never. No cam or mic for me today. Got to finish my workout. Well, I can tell you there. That's one thing about traveling and going to like conferences is that you do not have time to go to the gym most of the time. It's like you're out late and then you're like, I don't want to get up early and go to the gym. I want to sleep in and eat breakfast. Or have Tim bring you parfait from the hotel.
That I did. That I did.
You can only eat that American breakfast so many times.
Uh, I'll agree to disagree.
You're a trooper.
I mean, that was, dude, for the bang for your buck, that was delicious. So, Tina, yes, had you come to breakfast with us, I would have brought you a parfait too. You were literally on the same floor as Ben, so it would not have been an inconvenience at all.
It's true. Yeah. That
Hey
American
guys,
breakfast
good
makes me want to go
morning.
to sleep. Morning.
Enrique, good morning.
How was everybody's holiday weekend?
Going well. You are much
Short.
lower than usual. Is your mic something up with your mic today? You're really quiet today. No, we done lost you now.
Now you're really, really quiet.
Yeah, no, you're
Don't
a
don't
mute now.
call don't call Tim that.
Hello, Tim.
Yeah, you're really low.
No, that's okay.
Let's see here. Can you hear me? Good
We'll
morning,
learn to
guys.
read
Hope you
lips.
had a great holiday weekend. Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds more normal. Yeah, I don't know why you sound like you were really far away, like you were in a tunnel or something.
Yeah, I had like about 20 inches from my mic and me, so it's a little far.
Ah, gotcha,
I
gotcha,
usually use my bar in the front, but for the headset.
gotcha. Uh, well, we'll go ahead and get rolling. We're recording, so yeah, good deal. We will start off with at least what was new in the release notes because there were a couple of well, ease of life changes, and then there was actually the big feature for the um, future suppressions. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but that finally released this week. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and take a peek at it. So inside of events and then suppressed rules, which is where all your enhanced suppressions will live at, we now have the new suppression button up here in the top right hand corner. Let's go ahead and duplicate tab here. So new suppression. It starts out partner wide, but of course, that this is like a traveling suppression. So like somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, Bob's going to Mexico. You want to go ahead and choose organization, choose the organization for Bob, choose Bob or Adam in this example, which product they rock with Microsoft. So we're going to go Microsoft. And then which event type, we're going to type in outside. We're going to grab that user logging in out of country. You can also fill in other description fields here if you need to. You can even choose a unify status if you're wanting to apply that to your filter, to your enhanced suppression rather. IP address. None of this is required, by the way. It's all optional. But again, country, they're traveling to Mexico. If I could spell, that'd be great. Mexico. You can also add custom fields. So what this would be is, for example, if we want to go to a medium event here, I've asked already because this product literally this came out on Friday. So I've already asked for Adam to make this field name drop down here, an actual box drop down box to I got to speak with him because I he wants to know what fields I want in there. And pretty straightforward, I want all the fields that are listed by default in the events. So we're going to talk about that and see if that's not something that we can make happen. Um, if it's going to load for me. Come on,
Oh
machine.
yeah, I've heard it was running slow today.
Oh yeah, they did update. Yeah, Adam showed something on the status page that it's running a little slow today. So just so you guys are aware, we are aware of this slowness issue, and they are already working on it. There's already a status page update for this being like this. So let's let that load for a second. But essentially, like if you want the joint description additional field in there, the joint description, the miscellaneous, the user agent, which that has that here as well. But like all the fields that you would normally find in the event, you can add the field name, whether you want text or numbers, and then what that field value might would be. And of course, you can add up to 10 custom fields within your exclusion or your enhanced suppression that you're doing. But we'll go ahead and get off that for right now while it's being slow. So I have my org, I have my user, Microsoft. They're logging in from out of country. That country is Mexico. Now I can go next. That user, because they called me yesterday, they're going on vacation starting next Monday, the 13th, and they're going to be out until the 27th. So now I'll never get those initial hits that they're logging in out of country. I don't have to worry about a user being kicked out that I then have to fix. This will take care of all of that automatically for me. So this is Adam traveling to
Have you
Mexico.
tested that with the outside approved location tags that end up on file events?
I have not tested it with that yet. So that's one of the things that we were inquiring with Adam about. So I'm going to be, I am trying, I don't even know how to really, we have to test that because that's what I'm interested in as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons why I asked Adam about adding in multiple event types. So if we
Mm-hmm.
don't need to, and that right there kills all of that, perfectly happy. And hopefully that's exactly how it behaves. So we got to test it out to verify for sure, because that's going to be the big thing is that, especially for traveling for work, right? Because they're going to be actually doing work, modifying files, opening files, copying files. Where if they're just logging in and checking their email, this will be perfectly fine for them. But if they're actually working, this would be the same headache that it's always been, where you've got to do multiple enhanced suppressions. And at that point, you might as well just go ahead and whitelist the country and make a calendar thing to remove them when they get back. But yeah, Adam traveling to Mexico, skip all my stuff, and then create suppression. And then now I have a future suppression in here for Adam going on travel, right? And it even has the future status here, so you know when. Here's your date range, conditions, and of course, I can trash can this if I need to, which I'm going to because Adam's not going to Mexico. So that is the new future suppression. So phenomenal feature. I do think again we have room for improvement. And that's going to be, in my main opinion, it's going to be the ability to add in that drop down box here so you guys don't have to go look at an event to grab the field that you want to grab. You'll just be able to select it from here and then throw in the verbiage that you know that's in that field. Kind of making your life hopefully a little bit more efficient is the goal there. And I do see we have some chat going on. So with any questions, are we good?
I got most of the questions except
Okay.
I had a
James has
question.
his hand up.
What you got, James?
So very cool. Thanks for showing that. I did have one question slash request. Would it be possible, at least on the creating a suppression from scratch, to be able to have multiple event types in one fell swoop? Because we've run
So
into
we
it.
asked about that. We asked about that yesterday. That was me. Same thing on Friday. That was the first thing that me and another pro services guy that works with SaaS alerts brought up was like, hey, what if I want to do 5 events? You telling me I have to create 5 enhanced suppressions for future suppressions? And right now the answer is yes. However, product is aware of the ask. And we already knew partners were going to be asking for this. So he's diving into it with the team to figure out if this is technically capable. His understanding is that it's based off the trigger of said event, so he's not sure how the enhanced suppression would handle having to look at, say, 6 different events at one time. So, but they are looking into it. This was brought up yesterday, and he said they would take it on. Me and him are supposed to be having a side conversation about the use cases around that, which there are to me plenty to have, right? Because again, if they're traveling out of country or it's a certain type that I want to enhance suppress globally, I just want to bang it out with one thing and be done.
Yeah. And I mean, for like somebody just traveling, we're just kind of preemptively saying, like in your example, somebody's going to be in Mexico. Obviously, that usually just needs one, but we've had instances where a user was doing something in some country that was triggering like 3 different alerts, and we had to create 3 different suppressions in order to stop.
Absolutely correct. And the biggest culprit of that a lot of times is this Microsoft noise. And as you'll see our example right here, where file modified, and then we added in some nice and statement pieces here to where if as long as that file that's modified belongs to Microsoft across the board, ignore it, right? It would be nice if I could come in here and go file modified, file open, file copied, file deleted, file download, all of those all at one time. As long as they all belong to Microsoft, one enhanced suppression to rule them all, I'd be happy about that versus having to have 7 suppressions in here because there are 7 event types that are like that. So yeah, completely agree. So yeah, no, we are absolutely investigating that to see if that's possible. So hopefully it is, because that's to me that'll just add efficiencies to your guys' job and make life a little bit easier. So for sure. And then like R. Sampson brought up, not sure what the R stands for, sorry about that, but the IOC bug that we have been dealing with for the last month, I have been told it's in the final stages of testing. It should be out in the next
Okay.
product release. So hopefully either this week or next week. And I know I said that in the last call too. I know I'm being told. I tell what I've been told. So the product manager specifically over this fix has told me that it is good to go and they will be pushing it out in the next release. And with that, right, this is kind of where my talking points before we go over to the other part of the releases notes. Let's go ahead and jump on this IOC thing real quick. This is kind of where my pitch to customers is starting to move to where everything is an IOC. If I create a respond rule, it's because it includes an IOC. I actually am no longer creating respond rules that are just pure respond rules by themselves. And the reason why is because of the power behind IOCs and what it can do for your ticketing from a triage standpoint, right? So when you create the IOC um, in here, the bottom section in the IOC config is where you're able to add in all of this custom information, right? High support, this event triggered from SaaS alerts, take action. I want the app name, I want the OS name, the user, the country, the VPN, the torrent used, user agent details. I want all of this at the top of my ticket. I want this right in front of my face. Then this is what it would look like from that output of the code, which is to me way more verbose, way more specific to what I need. My tech can come in here, triage this very quickly, and go false positive, positive, and move on about their day. Respond does not allow this. So because of that, even if I intend on a rule to be in respond, I'm going to create the IOC first, and then whenever I go to create my respond rule, and of course this is where the bug is hindering that right now. So if you need a respond rule, create it in respond. That is where I would create the rule and then come down here, choose Microsoft, go to conditions, and then the bug is obviously I can't type in IOC and see my IOCs. I would be able to choose that one IOC all by itself, then one time within whatever time frame you want, one time within 1 hour, and then I'm adding my actions here. So unless Ben disagrees with this, to me, every rule moving forward should be an IOC so that way you can customize the output that goes into your ticket for triage. And then if you think that it deserves to have a response action to it, just go create a respond rule based on that IOC by itself and then trigger your response.
The only
Ben, you
thing that
can.
the only thing I don't know about is there used to be a delay between the IOC and respond, so it would basically it wouldn't run it would run like the IOC would run and then later on when the respond rule would run, so it would add time to response. I don't know if that's still an issue or not.
I haven't seen it at time. I know there is a delay difference, but I do know that's because response cycles every 5 minutes, though. So that's where you should see that delay. If the IOC picks it up very quickly and respond just scanned the minute before,
Hmm.
you're going to see a 4 to 5 minute gap there. And that's because response scans every 5 minutes.
Okay, so it's 5 minutes. Okay,
It should be 5 minutes. That should be the biggest gap between your IOCs and respond going off. So,
gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of how we were doing it too.
yeah,
But we're
same, yeah,
hoping the
there you go,
IOC
Sam.
bug
Yeah,
will be
perfect.
fixed soon.
Yep, perfect. All right, cool deal. So everybody's on the same page with that, it sounds like. Awesome. Will there be more community templates? Yes, absolutely. We're creating those on a regular. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, Fortify snapshots, not out yet, but coming soon. This has been coming soon for a while. PM confirmed that we should have these within the next week or two, I do believe. They are in the final stages of approving several snapshot community templates for you guys. So be on the lookout for that coming out soon as well. From the quality life standpoint, that feature that was released is inside of settings, and it is not released here because this is where everything is still separated. Oh, no, not here. Sorry. Organization settings, not their settings. I apologize. You now no longer have 8 tabs. So like basic settings, all those other items that were not accounts and power filters are now all underneath the settings tab. So you have basic settings, PSA and email, additional recipients, license changing here. So if you need to put in your domain URL, license type, and your group assignments, all of that is now housed in one pane of glass for you underneath the settings. So hopefully little bit more conducive and efficient from having to click on separate tabs every time you want to go and make a change somewhere. So I thought that was a pretty nice release. Again, quality of life release. So the other one is the Unify. So in Unify Mapped, we added in a column for recent public IP addresses. So you can base your determination on mapping off that as well. So that's been added in as to kind of help you guys make a decision on map or not map. And also if that IP makes sense or not. So that was also added in. And I believe we all added in also some, this was in the last release, but it's inside of snapshots and import snapshots. And then you now have the ability, and two more are coming too, by the way. Oh no, they got released. So all 5 are in here now for purview snapshots. So you have purview data loss prevention, data lifecycle management retention, compliance manager alert policies, information barrier policies, and insider risk management policies. So if you guys have purview policies in place within your tenant, you can now import those as well. Again, as we've continued to grow this out, right? And if you're doing all that custom work in your environment, why do that work many times over? Do the work once. If you think it's a great example, pull it in here, right? Conditional access, Intune, Defender, Exchange Transport rules, Teams rules, and now Purview. So this is getting more and more and more robust, so that way you can easily deploy this en masse to all of your customers. Or, yeah. Now, something else to note too is this gets asked a lot, right? Like if I import, so for example, I got Intune right here. If I import this Intune device configuration and I want to deploy it to X amount of organizations, can I make a customization per org? Yes, you can. You do not have to import this policy multiple times and do one per tenant. All you have to do is click the little shield icon to the right of the edit icon. And here you will be able to choose which organization you want to make the modification to, and then make your modification to that specific policy. Same thing with conditional access policies as well. I can come over here and then I can make a specific tune to that customer. So if one customer's got a change to their MFA, grab that customer, come in and edit their MFA parameters only, not the parameters for every single one of the initially deployed ones. So just keep in mind that you can granularly change these on a per org basis without having to re-import that snapshot altogether, just to push it out to the one organization that has one slight difference wise as far as change goes. I believe as far as new features go, that is it. They did the header migration thing up here, but that's not really that significant. So yes. So whenever you push from the CA template and wanted to adjust something, you'll need to do it in SaaS source, so making the change. That is absolutely correct. So yes, when you do a snapshot push from Fortify, this now becomes the source of truth. If you try to make a change locally, that night when we run our job, we will revert that change. So don't make the change there anymore. Now, initially there was some pushback on that, but when it was explained that, again, imagine that's one push that you got to make 15 times. Do you really want to log into 15 admin consoles, or just simply come in here, edit? Sorry, not right there. Don't know why I edited there. Edit. Make that change here, save, and you now just push that out one time to 15 different clients. That is why this being the source of truth is significantly more efficient than you having to go make a global change that is required for everybody across all 15 of your different Microsoft admin logins. So this just makes life significantly easier when it comes to using us to import and push out. So yes, this does become the source of truth. I believe Ben is working with development on adding a flag so that if you did want to locally override, that you could and it would not revert the change. Ben, where does that
Have
stand?
you
I know that's
have
something
you
that you brought up.
seen that? Like,
You
do me a
haven't.
favor, click on one of the conditional access policies, like edit one of them, and click customization under one of those. And yeah, and then drop that down. Do you see who said disable drift correction? See that? Right, second from the top.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, so there you
that's it
go.
right there.
So you now have control on whether you want us to undo that, basically correct the drift, right?
Yeah.
So at night when we run our job, if this is not in play, we will absolutely put the default back in place. So if you add something manually, then we'll do that. So
Mm.
again, you now have the ability to stop the drift correction from happening. So this was something that Ben asked for the day that we realized this was the source of truth. we wanted to give you guys control over that functionality. You now have that control. So, Jens, you now can go in and absolutely stop that from happening if you wish to do so. I personally prefer the source of truth, unless it was something unique for one org and I only needed to make that adjustment to one org. Then I'm definitely going to come in here and do this. But again, all completely up to you guys. That drift correction could be a very good thing, right? Because if a local admin goes in and makes an incorrect change that now opened up a security gap, I would much rather SaaS alerts shut that back down that same night and fix my security gap issue automatically without me having to even do anything about it, because you may not notice until an audit's done. So that, this is a nice safety net to have in place by not having that in there. But again, if you want that control, by all means, the control's there for you to use. To each their own.
Did you see that other icon that they added, the raw icon, raw snapshot data? If you click back to the list of snapshots.
No, I did not actually. Let's go back and take a
Yeah,
peek. Import
I
snap.
was wondering what that was. Cancel out of there.
Oh, where at?
Right on the, let me see if I can take my pencil right here.
Ooh, no, I did not see that new icon here.
Yeah.
Raw
Uh,
snapshot data. So let's go with the one that has applied to orgs here. Let's what we got. Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm assuming what is that? The country exclude list is what that is? Yeah, countries and
Hmm.
regions. Okay, so
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
that is.
I'm wondering if that's going to like mean that there's going to be an option to import that JSON later on, because it's like it's nice to have it, but like what do you do with it?
Absolutely. All those small adjustments, can we find that in the detailed change log? As far as the drift is concerned, Jens, is I'm assuming what you're referring to?
Or are you talking about the configure, like the customization when somebody like changes something?
So eventually, so right now in the UI, we don't have, it's not fully built out. And I know that obviously internally Microsoft does record those changes. But for example, here, let's go with snapshot. We'll go with that one right here. What will eventually happen is that when you choose a benchmark that you want to look at, it will load the benchmark over here. And then when you click on this, we will show drift, right? However, what's coming soon is all of the drift details. So we're going to be able to specifically tell you what changed, whereas this right here, right now, is just telling you there was drift. So obviously, it's not what I would call the most amazing feature in the world as far as tracking drift is concerned, but that's where this bottom coming soon piece is going to be the deal breaker there, as far or the big feature, if you will, whenever it actually gives you the details of what exactly was changed drift wise. So we are working on that. So to answer your question, coming soon. Now, if it was something to where it was regressed as far as this is concerned, yes, we actually alert you to regressed, so you can look at stuff that was regressed, and we will identify that it fell off because like for MFA, for example, not everybody's compliant with MFA anymore. It will now show as regressed, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have a regressed alert?
Hmm.
Ben, we do, right?
Yeah, we
So
do.
let's go. Let's go in
It's
here.
it is I think it says regressed.
Yeah, so Fortify action
Yeah,
regress is set to low
it's
by
default
default, but
low.
you could absolutely set that to medium. And every time a security control that you have in place gets regressed, you get notified of it. So
Yeah,
this
there
is
was.
technically a view on drift, if you will, but doesn't give you the full details like that other option is going to give once it comes out. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say there was. I talked to Amanda because originally when we released it, we said, "Hey, there's going to be respond action to reapply those settings if they do become regressed." But technically, she said that's what templates does now. So
Correct.
as long as there's a template, it should reapply those settings on a nightly basis.
Correct. So just how snapshots looks at the drift and undoes what was done to make it match what was in the snapshots area, templates does the exact same thing with regressed. So if it goes
Mm,
into regress, that same night we're going to try to reapply it again. If it's not being met, then it'll stay regressed, and you're gonna have to figure out why. Which again is why this feature here, where you're able to choose the benchmarks, is going to be very huge when this comes out because it's going to give you the exact details of that drift regression. So it'll be a nice bonus add when that comes out. As far
Very
as new
cool.
stuff goes, that's all I had for the most part. So we'll open I mean, obviously people have been asking questions in chat, but does anybody have any? And then unless there's something else you wanted to go over, was there something specific that anybody wanted to go over?
We got a hand. We have two questions. James is asking a question and or has his hand up, and also
Yep.
Jens is wondering about NIST. And
Yeah, let's do James first, and then we'll hit up Jen's question about the NISTs. Go ahead, James.
Hey, quick question. Well, hopefully quick. Can you explain or clarify for the Microsoft like 365 connections? There's Microsoft and respond dash or Microsoft dash respond or respond dash Microsoft. Can you explain the difference? And I asked
Absolutely.
because my understanding was that Microsoft was kind of like the input and respond was like the output. Like if you wanted it to lock out an account or do anything proactive, you needed it to respond. But
That is
it's
exactly correct.
okay. But it
So it's
seems
very
like
simple. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
but it seems like my assumption is that respond is absolutely needed for any lockout or proactive stuff. It seems
Yes,
like the Microsoft or respond dash Microsoft one also gets all the events as well, and it seems like it's superfluous and like a duplicate effectively of Microsoft. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen instances where the Microsoft one was broken, but the respond one was not, and we were still getting events. And I, in fact, opened up a ticket last week with support because the Microsoft one was broken. I kept repairing it. It would work for like an hour or two and then fail again. And like the little pop-up says if that's happening, contact support. And I'll be blunt, support was completely useless. I had to explain like 4 or 5 times what they're like. Oh yes, they basically just kept copying and pasting the instructions on how to setting up the the global admin account. I'm like, yeah, I did that. The issue is it keeps failing, and they're like, "Well, I see events, so it's working fine. It's just a GUI, UI thing." And I'm like, "No, you're just seeing the events from the respond integration, and you're just assuming it's working. It's not." So I guess my question is like, are both needed? Is one is Microsoft doing something that respond Microsoft isn't? Like, what exactly is like? How should these be set up, or how should we consider them to be functional?
Ben, I've never tested that. Do you know that Respond by itself will feed in the events?
I'm looking to see what the permissions of the app, because it was originally designed so that each module only had the permissions it needed to do its job, and typically manage would feed into respond. I've heard the UI bug before, but let me
Yeah.
look and see what permissions it has. It very well may have everything that it needs. Let's see here.
Yeah, so how it's supposed to be, from our understanding
Yeah.
on that, James, is Microsoft Manage is meant to connect so that way we get telemetry from your users as well as we see the billable seats aspect of the Microsoft tenant. Microsoft Response permissions are to give us access to apply actions such as expire account logins, reset passwords, block sign-in, enable MFA, even delete a user if we need to. And then Microsoft Fortify gives us permission to push out security controls such as enable MFA, things like that, right? So those are the three different variants, and they each have a unique set of permissions that are completely different from one another. So as Ben's looking that up, and we'll probably end up testing this as well to see if that's the case, if this is actually feeding in telemetry, because it's my understanding has been from the get-go that Manage feeds in telemetry and brings in the billable seat usage. Respond is able to take action based off of the telemetry fed in from Manage, and then Fortify, we're able to take actions based off of the Microsoft Secure Score and the tenant configuration and the controls that are available to take advantage of based on the licensing level. That's
Yeah.
how it's
So,
supposed to work.
so the application, the Respond Enterprise app basically has application read write all, app role assignment rewrite all, role management, user, password profile, enable or disable account for the user, manage identity feed for users, and users read write and user authentication method rewrite. So it has some reading ability, but I believe the primary logs are coming from the Respond
The Manage.
Enterprise app. The manage one. I'm looking to see what that one looks like too.
Because I know the list for Manage is significantly longer when we walk through the actual approval process, and Respond and Fortify are much shorter.
Let's see. Yeah, the integration for the manage does have a decent amount. It has that ability to audit log read all devices. It doesn't appear, it has a couple of writing, like it can manage app permissions. I think that's the automatic upgrade if it needs additional permissions. It's like customizable. And it can read write all directory RBAC. Everything else seems to be mostly read.
Yeah, it just, I mean, I've seen numerous situations where the Microsoft one was down, like I guess Microsoft
Hmm.
Managed one was down, Respond was up. Now, I don't know if we were getting all the telemetry,
Yeah.
but we're definitely getting, you know,
So
like we were getting alerts, like we were getting events, we're getting, regular, like, out of country login activity, things like that. So, I mean, most, if not all,
Hmm.
the events were coming through just on the Respond, assuming that you mentioned that you're aware that there is some kind of UI thing. So there instances where Manage is actually up and running, but the UI is saying
Hmm.
it's not.
Oh yeah, all
correct.
the time.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can, one thing that you can do is if you hit F12 on your browser when you see that sort of disconnection, is kind of look for any errors, anything that might be showing up in red under the console that may indicate that something's being blocked. Sometimes it's on the browser side, sometimes it's on our side. I'm not gonna point fingers and say it's always on your side. It's very possible that there's a UI bug on our side too. But then sometimes that'll help kind of narrow down where it is.
Well, and
Um,
it's weird. 'Cause, like I'm not sure I can paste into this in the chat, but I'm seeing, like, if I go to organizations and I go to status broken connection, like I'm seeing
mhm,
where it says broken connection, and then in the past I've seen like applications, it would either say either Microsoft or Respond Microsoft would be red, right? So I can know, okay, which
mhm.
one is
Yeah.
bad. But like I'm seeing now instances where neither of them are red. I don't know if that's what you mean by the UI issue, but in the one client's case where we opened up a ticket,
Mhm.
the Microsoft one, it would be fine. Like it would show, everything would show, like I would repair the connection. They would look fine for like an hour or two. And then we even got an alert ticket generated, like from the looks like I set up a rule basically to send me a ticket. If
Okay.
the it only works right now for the main one, not Respond, because the Respond has to be monitored via an IOC, and the IOC like ticketing is broken for Respond to generate an IOC alert. But yeah, we would get a ticket for it, and I go back and look, and it's broken again, and that's what support
So
said. Oh, it's normal.
let me show you, Tim. I know you said you have to run, so if you have to go,
Oh
that's
no, that's
okay.
that's on the next meeting, not this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not
Let's
today. We're good
see.
today. But I can stop
If
sharing though.
you
You can feel free to share. Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, by all
Let's
means.
see. I want to show you how you can set up that API thing, but I definitely would love to, if it's up to you, you can, I can stop recording, you can share your screen, but uh, usually if it is giving an error, like if it is lighting up red or anything, it'll tell us usually like a message on why it is. And that's, if you'll send that to us, like either me or Tim, we can kind of do some investigating to find out what the heck is going on. But one thing that you can do, if you go under custom alerts, we did add a couple of API failures that you don't have to use IOCs for. There's one, it's for, was it just failed?
Like app connection failed is the one that we have, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
there's a Fortify app connection failed, and that's by default low. I don't know why. I always encourage people to set that to a medium, and then there's also a respond one right here as well as it's low. So if you set those to both at least medium, you don't have to use an IOC for that.
Is that but does that actually show as a trigger under respond? Because I think that was the issue that we were having, was that
It would, sh
I could set that as
it,
a trigger under an IOC, but I couldn't set the respond app connection fail as a trigger under respond.
yeah, it'll show as an event and ideally create you a ticket.
Yeah,
This time.
so if it's medium, the only reason why you would want it in an IOC, James, is if you're going to keep it low. If you make it medium, and you have PSA enabled, it's going to automatically send you a ticket no matter what.
Hmm.
Our setup is completely different. We're not using the normal PSA integration. We're using the API, and like it
Gotcha.
feeds Cribble, which
Yeah.
then feeds into our service now. So right now, the
Yeah.
only thing that we have coming in as alert tickets is through Respond. And let me just see. Yeah, like when I look at Yeah, when I look at the triggers under respond, I can do an application API connection as fail, which triggers for the Microsoft Manage. But the respond one I can only do as an IOC, and we don't have IOC ticketing set up yet. We're working on that, but the way they're coming in is kind of different. So our development team is working on that. But like I create an IOC for respond, and I was going to create a respond rule that would trigger off of the IOC for the respond API broken trigger, but that obviously can't be done right now because you can't do a respond rule on an IOC until that's fixed.
One of the things that I'm actually was working on before this call was to give you more flexibility with like the webhooks, to be able to pull that and pretty much any information. Right now, you can only specify the event or the criticality of that event. We're working on expanding that too. I don't know if that'll help or not, but uh, happy to deep dive into your setup sometime. I know you may not want to do it in front of everybody, but
Yeah,
um,
and I don't want to take up
just
too much. I know that the issue we assumed it would be pretty simple to set up like Respond was, but I guess
mhm.
the IOCs come across as like event type Microsoft or something like that. Like, it basically comes in just like the old events, which kind of make things a little difficult because to try to filter through every other event was a little problematic for our development team.
Yeah, and there's the IOCs like you can't specify yeah, and like their titles are a little their the title of the event's a little weird too, and it's kind of random. That's one of the things I was working on with the dev team is fixing our webhook so that you can create custom conditions for whenever they trigger, and one of those is the existence of it being an IOC versus just a normal event.
Gotcha.
So that should be in hopefully in production very soon. So definitely working on that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and if you do have ones that are showing up in red, like this one's obviously red, and sometimes it will tell you why. Like it'll give you this error message. If it does tell you that, just let us know. And if that's coming up as, communication failed, maybe we kind of dive into that and find out why it's failing. If it's something that's
Well, that's what I
uh,
was hoping the support team was going to do because it literally says that this keeps happening, contact support, and
yeah,
it
Yeah,
wasn't
if you
very.
would, James, put that ticket number in chat, please. We'll get the support leadership to look at that. I'll get Jesse
yeah,
to take a peek at it.
Okay.
yeah.
And the
Jesse's one
communication
of
failed
our
was where it was turning red. Like it would and then again this is like 2 hours later and it said applications return an API channel error endpoint directory audit. So I don't know if that means anything.
endpoint directory audit. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, put the ticket number in chat. I'll get Jesse. He's one of the managers of support leadership, so I'll get him to take a peek at that ticket, see if we can
Yeah.
go from there. So,
Yeah, Jesse or
Okay.
Brian, both really good guys that should be able to help us figure that out.
yeah. So, let's go back to Jen's question though regarding the NIST and the drift, the benchmark basically. So yeah, Jen's all you would need to do, and if Ben, if you since you're already sharing, just go to Fortify and then go to create a template and then type in the search box there where it says 164, just type in NIST. So Jens, this is all the NIST items that we have support here, and you can click the little eye icon next to any one of those real quick, Ben, if you would. It'll show that it's part of the NIST framework. So you would just build out a template for the NIST framework controls that you want to have in place, and then whenever you apply that template to a customer in question on the dashboard, when you go to look at benchmarks drop-down box, that NIST template that you created will be one of the templates that you can grab, and then it will show that benchmark column with the company that has that template. And then when you click on it, you'll be able to see all that drift detail that we saw in the example that I gave. So that'd be the same thing as Ben going back to dashboard,
Oh, sorry.
and then just go ahead and changing that benchmark to, I guess let's choose one of those. Should be. Oh, you don't have any
Yeah.
on this one. What are you in?
No. QA.
Oh, that's okay. I'm in the demo lab, so that's why. Oh,
No.
here, if you want to stop sharing your screen real quick, let me reshare mine then, since I
Yeah.
have mine. Mine's that way. Yeah, perfect.
Do you think?
And so yeah, so hypothetically, we already have that NIST template. We've already deployed it. And here, this one says, template NIST, right? Or, this is the SIS one, right? Sets benchmarks, 32 out of 40 controls. I could come over here and again, same details. So yes, you can absolutely do one for NIST. You just have to build it out. So just create the template. Hopefully that answers that question. And then I saw Tina had one about dates. So let me go back and read that. Date ranges, suppressions. James asked about multiple event suppressions, but wouldn't adding a country suppression, say a user travels to Mexico, suppress any event that triggers in that country? Or you can't just blanket allow a user in a country. You have to do for each event type that may trigger. So it's not that okay, so yes and no, right? So if I go and someone's traveling to Mexico and I put them in Mexico, that's fine and dandy. But as we all know, Microsoft's data centers are all over the world. So they may be in Mexico, but they could be hitting a data center that's in Japan, right? Or they can be hitting a data center that's, somewhere else outside of Mexico, and that will be another outside approved login location country wise. So that's where the caveat of choosing the multiple event types is coming into play for a lot of people. So that way I can say not only outside approved location, but this event, this event, this event, this event, no matter where they're triggered from for this user, I'm okay with it. We're going to do testing though on the outside location piece to see if that will quick kill all the file modified noise or all the file event noise is the overall goal of that testing there. So, and let me grab that ticket before I forget about it. Let me put that.
I gotcha.
You already got it. Perfect.
Yep, that sounds good.
So yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that ticket, James. But Tina, hopefully that answers your question. So again, yes and no. It depends on where that noise is coming from. Because if it's not coming from Mexico, you're going to get an alarm for it, right? So that's what we're trying to account for. Well, there you go. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, perfect. Yeah, risky activity, multiple logins from different IPs. I mean, that makes perfect sense. So yeah. Great questions today.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything else? Of course.
Anything. Well, I learned something new. I didn't know the advanced suppression had been added in there, so that's cool.
Absolutely. I've been talking about this feature for a while now, so I am absolutely elated that it's out. This
Now we just need it for
allows.
the API.
So yeah, I was very excited for this. So again, my biggest thing is I want these fields to have a drop down option here instead of it just being go find the field name. Did this ever
Mhm.
load? Oh, it did. So like for example here, if I wanted to go look at, let's go grab a diff. Let's see. Those are all. I don't want to look at a rule. Let me go and grab API key created, right? So if I want one of these, like I would have to go in and grab this specific field and then add that into the parameter of my suppression, right? So like location threat is a threat. I'd have to go in, custom field, throw that in there, and then value is false, right? So I would much prefer that was a drop down option from all of this available telemetry that we normally have in our events to begin with. So, oh, and Ben just doing the Discord link. If you're not in Discord, join. Absolutely. We have a ton of people in that Discord. Great, fantastic community of networking in there. So definitely join that Discord if you can. So if your job don't allow it, then put it on your phone. So it's
Yeah,
definitely worthwhile.
we're up to 883 people in there now. So
Yeah. So and there's rule creation forums in there, rule idea forums in there. There is no reason to wait to get hit. Go in there and
yeah,
steal a rule that somebody else has created from their past bad experience. No reason to no reason to have the same bad experience yourself.
we
So
have
definitely
we have
go in
more
and steal
people
rules.
we have more people on our server than the Kaseya one has. I think that's kind of
Let's go,
funny.
baby.
That's kind of funny.
So yeah, that's how the custom field piece will work though. So I just wanted to show that example. Um, yeah. So yeah, Ben, we're going to test out this outside piece because I'm interested to know whether or not that's how that flies because it has the outside here, which makes me think that it will kill all of the outside noise.
Also, one thing to
Uh,
note is if anybody used our Zendesk knowledge base, that is gone. So the new URL is at Kaseya. So if anybody needs it, there it is in the chat.
Yep.
Should have all the
And
same stuff.
if anybody in here has Kaseya Sim, we now have a new scheduling process to actually meet with the Sim team if you guys need to. So just reach out to your account managers, and they will get you guys scheduled with the sim team. So we actually now have a Calendly to get on their schedules and have you guys speak with that team specifically, instead of going through like a middleman, which has been the process for the last year. So that's a nice uplift as far as the onboarding and overall utilization of the sim product goes. So if you have the sim and you want to talk to the sim team, reach out to your account manager, let them know. They will get provided a link to get you on the sim team's calendar. So, and from what I saw with the calendar, whenever I was using it, there's plenty of availability. So you can absolutely get you a call this week if you needed to talk to somebody. So
Have we started showing off what the sim looks like yet? Is that still
no,
under
because I
wraps?
believe that'll most likely be a Connect thing. I think that they're doing, from what I saw on the roadmap, they're going to do something like a week before, but I don't believe they're
Hmm.
doing like all the bells and whistles until Kaseya Connect. So, which
Gotcha.
makes sense. So,
I
um,
guess.
yeah.
Give people a reason to go, I suppose. Other
We've
than
been
to
working
meet
with
you and
a
me.
Yep. Yes, we need to see some other people for sure. We need to. We're going to be having. We have been working with AI too, just so you guys are aware. We've been playing around with that. It's been going really well, especially in the Fortify side. Absolutely amazing stuff. They're going to be making some announcements, I believe, at Connect as well for that. So I'm gonna leave that kind of as is as an open thing there, but just know that we are absolutely playing around with AI and the tool and how it can empower you guys to Jens, I'm not making any comments. So, anyways, AI, we're working on it, and you'll see some new stuff at Connect. But I will tell you that so far it's been going really, really, really well with testing, and it is,
Yeah.
especially the Fortify side. That has been I have been absolutely elated with the Fortify stuff. So, definitely pretty cool. And just stay tuned for end of April when we're at Vegas Connect, and you guys should hopefully see some big news there. Hopefully around that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been sworn to secrecy. They should have never
Yeah,
showed me because I can't keep my mouth shut. So
I have a hard time too, man. Like I give little nibbles so that way people get excited, but it's hard for me not to talk about it because it's such a cool
yeah.
feature. So
Yeah, it'll be something I think Jim's talking about on main stage.
I believe
So
so. Correct.
yeah, I don't want to tick Jim off. Be like,
Can't steal
oh
the
yeah,
thunder from Jim. That would be
Ben
bad.
showed me this on office hours. He'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Or the clapping's not as much because they're like, oh yeah, we already knew about that. No,
Yeah.
that's it. So AI's been worked
Old
with,
old
but we will
news.
tell you what.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny.
So
Nope, not gonna get
well,
myself in trouble.
it sounds like we're near the end here, Ben. So if you want to stop recording and then we can just open up the discussion to pretty much anything like we usually do for the last 10 to 12 minutes here, we can do that because I'm sure Enrique has
After
some
office
kind of
hours?
wild topic that we can discuss. He always
Uh,
does.
yeah,
Now I can
after
talk.
hours. No, you can't talk yet. I haven't stopped recording yet. So
I said nothing.
all
Ah,
right.
great.